My name is Leon Harris. I'm from Delaware. One of the things that I am passionate about now, well, I've always been, but it's my family. And now for me, it is cybersecurity. I am breaking into that field, and it's a field where you have to learn every day. So life for me before I got injured, basically I was a teenager. So I was 17. For me, I was simple. I went to church, I went to school, I had a little part-time job, and that was all I did. So I was injured on March 26, 2007. I was coming home from my after school job, but it was around like 9:15 at night. And I was living in Upper Darby, Pennsylvania at the time. And I got off the SEPTA bus, which is our mass transit. And as I got off the bus to go to my house, which was half a mile away, if that, and as I walked onto my block, a car stopped. Two young gentlemen hopped out the back of the car and surrounded me and attempted to try to rob me. Basically had a conversation like they wanted to rob me. They wanted me to step into a kind of dark alleyway. So I went to run because my house wasn't too far away. But I'm naive. I'm 17. I haven't been, in the streets. I haven't been exposed to a lot of crazy things. So I just thought running was the best idea. And I never heard the gunshot. It was one gunshot. Never heard it. And I ended up paralyzed. Just immediately. The bullet went into my shoulder, bounced around a little bit, nicked my lung, almost hit my heart, and is still now living in the T3 area of my back. So for me, I instantly knew I was paralyzed. I knew my feet felt like they were floating under the concrete. And I couldn't get up. So I was like, well, it's over. And I'm just calling out to my mom because I have no other recourse. I can't crawl. I can't move. The worst part about me in my 2 months of recovery in the beginning, I lost my hands during that time. So I went from at least being able to move my hands to now nothing in the hospital bed. I had to be totally dependent on somebody. It was rough. It was a hard time. It was hard. I did the best of it. I made the best out of it. I kept the positive attitude that I still have to this day. So my current level of injury is I am a C6 T3 quadriplegic. So my initial injury was the T3, where the bullet is. Then within the first 2 months, I had swelling in my spine that went up to my C6, which caused me to become a quad. I lost all movement in my hands at that time, and I had to regain it. A lot of people see me do stuff, and they don't believe that I'm a quad because I have good trunk control. If you see, I'm kind of sitting here, but if you push me, I'm gonna fall right over. It's fake. It's enough to live by, but it's really, at the end of the day, I'm a quad. So yeah, I started off as like a full quad, and then now I'm just like a main function, a high function quad. So when I lost my hands, that was it. And so they would do therapy to try to get you to get it back. I worked my tail off to get my hands back. I had a PSP at the time that was a portable gaming device, and I had no finger movement. I couldn't move anything, but I found a way to play it. I would prop it up with 7 different games, wrap it with rubber bands, lay it in the bed, and use my tongue. So my will to have fun and to get better and to do things was there. So as you try things, you know what you can't do, but I think I always try everything once. So that's when I learned about my limits, after I tried. First barrier I faced was coming home. My first 2 homes weren't the best for accessibility. So I went back to the home that I was originally living in after I got shot. So I had to live in the living room. We had about 12 steps to get in. So people had to carry me in literally by my body, not even in the wheelchair. They had to carry me. We then moved to an apartment. It was on the 3rd floor. They had an elevator. That was nice. But the only way for me to get into my bedroom is I had to transfer into a hospital chair because it was smaller. I could take the leg rest off. I learned how to transfer really well. I ended up becoming independent because my mother had to work. It took about 5 years to get total independency and be myself and know that I can do this thing. In Philadelphia, there's an agency called Liberty Resources, and they basically help disabled people get back on their feet. They offer programs, they offer resources, they offer supplies sometimes. For me, that was kind of vital. They kind of got me out the house. They got me doing things. What we had in our area was called paratransit, which was basically a bus or something that picks up people with disabilities or seniors. So I learned about that. I learned how to get it cheaper. I learned a lot about things that are available for disability. I learned a lot about disability rights. I learned what I could and couldn't do. So when I got injured, my friends that I had at the time, a lot of my friends are based out of my church. They there. Nobody left me alone. We had a few really close people, and then we had a big church family. That stayed true even after I got injured. I had a few people that knew everything about the disability life that I didn't want them to know, but I needed help. So my friendship stayed the same. Again, I'm a jokester, so I'm gonna make a joke about everything that happened. So I was always candid with everybody. I was pretty much open book. The wheelchair ain't stopped the ladies. It's just a confidence thing. And then I ended up getting married. So wheelchair is it's an icebreaker. I mean, everything I did was an accomplishment to me. Biggest accomplishment was I got married first. I went to Las Vegas. I flew on an airplane right after that. That was big for me. And then after that, I learned how to drive. I played wheelchair rugby. That was fun. I had a daughter. I was able to have my own kid. I mean, we had to go through IVF, but that's still me. Like, she has my name backwards because I didn't get a junior. So her name is Noelle. My name is Leon. And my last biggest achievement is I got into cybersecurity. And I've had 3 jobs in 4 months. And I think that's amazing for somebody that went from being a stay-at-home dad, no prior work experience before, and now I'm able to take care of my family. But for me, the bigger thing is I got into cybersecurity within like 18 months. And that's extremely hard to do without a college education. Like, I'm a unicorn and I'm excited about that. I was in my teenage years when I started playing rugby, my wheelchair teenage years. Yes, I would recommend it. You need to do something. The camaraderie, again, it's about being around other people in your situation. You learn so much. I seen a man take a shower with a regular chair because there was no shower chairs available because it was 100 wheelchairs in a hotel. He took a regular chair out the room that you sit at a desk, put it in the shower, hopped in and showered. I was like, wow, we can do anything. That's when I was really like, handicapped people can do anything, bro. Like, there's so much stuff you pick up that's not even like intentionally posted. Like, you came to play a sport, but you learn about life. I didn't learn how to drive until, again, 5-6 years into my injury, actually 7. And my first car was a Ford Flex, which is an SUV. I drove that thing all around America, man. I drove that thing all down the East Coast at rugby tournaments. And then now I've officially become a real disabled person. I have a minivan. So me and my wife, we have a YouTube channel, and we have a whole kind of business, basically, actually. We have a YouTube, Instagram, TikTok. We have a website, email. We have a brand called Harris Hope and Humor. The intention was to bring awareness to people that want to be an ally in the community or people that just don't know what it's like to be in an interabled relationship or what people with disabilities have to go through. It's evolving into other things now. My wife is taking on more of it where she definitely exposed people to caregiver burnout as well, which is vital and I think is not talked about a lot. And we just talk about parenting. We talk about sometimes social issues going on. It's just taking on a world of its own because there's so many different issues. And a lot of things are different from when you're African-American and you're disabled. There's a lot of different issues that you have to deal with and worry about. Like, just me driving down the street, I'm scared every time I get in a car. My biggest advice to somebody that's newly injured, that's similar in my condition, is talk. Don't hold anything in. Don't hold any question in. Ask a question. Find somebody to talk to. Because you don't know this thing. And I don't know everything you're going through, but I know some of what you've been through. And I know you need to talk to somebody because I didn't have too many people to talk to. And I'm going through a lot of therapy for it right now. So save yourself some money, save yourself some time. Talk now. Let me give you some resources. And if I don't have a resource, I got 75 other homies with me. They got a resource to help you. The internet is where I find my community of people with spinal cord injuries in Delaware. My biggest goal now is just to live to see my daughter. My goal is just to live for a long time for my daughter and my wife at this point. I'm doing everything I want to do. You get what I'm saying? Like, I've done the big things. I've knocked off the big things. So now it's the little supplemental things that actually do the big things. I want to skydive. I mean, I think that's like the next thing I'm trying to do this year is skydive. I want to help people. I'm a helper first, so I'm always down to help people. I always give back. One thing that helped me keep my positivity was just God. I just had a strong belief in God, and God would keep me through it all. I'm not one to look to walk again per se. That's not my goal in life. That's not my dream per se. I'm 15 years. I know how to not walk. It's easy. Walking again seems hard, and it seems slower. I kind of go past some of my peers that walked. I always have had to track the belief that God will provide where you are, and He has. I've been sick. I was definitely sick 2-3 years ago. I'm in the best health I've been in a long time. Again, like I said, just trying to be positive through it all. It's hard, but it's just, for me, it was just a belief in God and knowing that God will cover you and protect you, whatever situation you're in that moment.